remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? Listening and being curious is the most important thing that we can do in front of our customers.
And welcome yet to another fabulous episode of the B2B Sales Trends Podcast, my lovely people. The show that brings you hacks, tips, thought leadership to the topic of B2B selling. My name is Kendlbacher, and today's episode is all about selling the future, how to build credibility in an AI-driven world. And our expert for today, and I'm super pleased to do this, is Ashley Sherman. Ashley is the Senior VP of Global Sales at SoftServe. Now, welcome to the B2B Sales Trends Podcast, Ashley.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. I'm so excited about this topic.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Ashley, give us a little bit of an intro about yourself. Let's start there.
Yeah, sure. Oh, gosh, I've been in the B2B enterprise space for roughly, the past 25 years. Servicing into major Fortune 50 enterprise accounts. Been doing everything from slinging phones to selling software to creating large transformations. And that's where I'm at today.
Thanks for the intro, Ashley. That's great. Help me. We had a pre-meeting to this recording, and we talked a little bit about helping buyers sort of see around the corner of what is now. You know, in today's environment, it's really not enough to sell what your solution does right now. What helps sellers position themselves as forward-looking advisors and thinkers, especially when buyers are thinking 2, 3, or even 10 years ahead. What are your thoughts on that topic?
Yeah. Well, you always have to be the expert in the room of what you're selling, but then also know the future of where you're going, your company's going, your product is going, but most importantly, the customer, right? Know the customer and know what that vision looks like, and then meet them there. I always like to take a look at the entire company from a high level view and paint that picture for them based upon what I know. So give them my 10-year vision and start peeling back the layers. So I'll go 10 years, and then I'll go back to year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on to really show them the capability and how to get where they're going. Because it's easy to say, yes, in 10 years, this is where we want to be. But the hard part is how do we get there?
And what are typically the responses from your clients and prospects that you doing this with? I bet that sometimes they're puzzled and they don't really be able to answer that question. What is in 10 years and so forth. How is their responses typically to that approach?
Yeah, a lot of times it is a question that I definitely get a couple different looks on. But I will tell you that in the C-suite today, there's a lot of humility, right? We have to sit back and we have to see how fast technology has been advancing and how fast technology will continue to advance. So really the past, I would say, year or 2 years, I've been able to talk high level without getting ill responses or confusion from the C-suite. So, the responses have been more favorable and more open to talking futuristic opportunities and futuristic solutions, where nothing is off the table. I mean, I'm in meetings talking about, humanoids and drones and flying cars, and it's really interesting. But that's where we have to look. And once we can really, show what the outcomes of those humanoids or robotics are going to look like, that's when you start seeing the big picture. And that's when that's why experts like myself and other technology partners coming into these enterprise companies today really have to see the future picture and be able to explain how to get there and how it's going to happen.
And you mentioned the C-suite there, and we always hear from our customers and people we talk to that it's an issue to really get the C-suite's attention, right? When selling to these senior decision makers, it's always very difficult to hook them and to get their attention, especially on the topic of that feels like sort of future problems in a way. What helps break through in your opinion, and get to these senior level buyers, should I say? And how do we get them to think more strategically?
Yeah, I think it's a multi-partner approach, right? So when you're coming into C levels, bringing in multiple partners, I'm talking maybe 3 or 4 that complement your the same solution that you're selling. That's when it builds credibility. Because now you're just not coming at them as being, soft serve. You're saying, hey, listen to what SoftServe Microsoft NVIDIA have compiled together to show you. Look at what we're creating. And that right there just shows scalability across the marketplace and across technology. But it shows that partnership aspect, that this vision isn't just coming from one single source, right? It's not coming from one single company, but this is happening across the board. And this is what we need you to see. And typically when we go at it, that approach, it's magical, right? Because we do all have our specialties and sit in different areas. But I really do believe that the future forward is going to be multiple partnerships, right? When you're talking about, again, creating humanoids or robotics, you're looking at software, you're looking at hardware, you're looking at integrating physical AI and published AI. You need these different collaborations across the board and across the industry.
Yeah. And it's interesting when we talk about to what you just shared, these big ideas, and they don't always translate into sort of the next steps or the next clear milestones. What's the key to help buyers to connect this innovation and this thinking to real business value and move from interest to action? How do you think about that?
Yeah, I really like to go across the entire ecosystem of that enterprise company, right? So meeting with multiple different stakeholders in different levels, not even stakeholders, but meeting with the ground level. So
Yeah.
I typically go in and I'm talking to customer service, I'm talking to, HR departments, whoever I need to go to understand the full story and really dissect the problems and what's going on and how our technology or how technology as a whole can solve for those problems. So
Yeah.
I like to do this before we meet with a board or C-level executives, just so by the time we get there, we can say, hey, you know what? I was meeting with your customer service team the other day, and gosh, they were on the phone with the customer for 20 minutes trying to resolve one issue. Where if we can incorporate this AI solution, we can minimize that downtime to 2 minutes. And this is how we're going to do it. And then coupling on top of that, taking the calculations and saying, this is how much it's going to save you and your organization. That's where the real money comes in, right? That's where the real hook is because we're not just implementing technology, right? We're trying to increase productivity, reduce costs, create outcomes. And to do that, you really have to take a look at the company as a whole, not just within IT or within the marketing departments.
Right. Right. It's interesting. You pointed out that you clearly talk to multiple different stakeholders. Like in any B2B sales process these days, there are multiple stakeholders. And what we find is it's a challenge for salespeople and sales leaders to sort of get into each persona of these different stakeholders. Customer service. You mentioned HR. You mentioned the C-suite and so forth. Typically, salespeople tend to be drawn to the conversations that they like to have and they feel comfortable with. But sometimes they have to branch out to somebody like the C-suite. Is that something you see in your sales organization as well?
Yeah, it is about conversations they like to have, but really it's about conversations that they don't know is happening with inside the organization, right? Because sometimes a lot of times the problems, the real problems, won't be bubbled up because there's not a solution to those problems. Right.
Right.
So if you're experiencing, these customer service times that are higher than you'd like them to see, but you don't have a resolution, you're probably
Yeah.
not going to bring that up in a board meeting, right? So
Yeah.
that's where, we like to come in and be that trusted, the keyword is trusted advisor and be able to not just pitch the problems, but the solutions that come with it.
Yeah. And you mentioned trusted advisor, and it's obviously a term in the industry that always keeps popping up and has been for many years. What do you think um, really good salespeople need to be doing to be trusted advisors, in your opinion? What is it that they need to, on a day-to-day basis, use and do when they engage with their clients to gain that trust?
Yes, I love that question. And my answer has been the same that it was 25 years ago, right? When I'm sitting in front of a customer, I work for you. I
Yeah.
may be getting paid from a different organization, but I work for you. When you invite me to your boardroom, when you invite me to your meetings,
Mm,
I am here for you and nobody else. It doesn't matter what I'm selling. It doesn't matter what I'm trying to push or what I know the most about. I'm here
mm,
to help you. And I
yeah.
think that that is the one piece that we need to normalize as we go forward into this vast technology age that we're into right now, is that we're all human and we're all working here together.
Right.
Um, Another piece to that is, remember, we have two ears and one mouth, right? Listening and being curious is the most important thing that we can do in front of our customers.
That's funny. It just made me chuckle. That was something that I was told, and when I first started in sales. Remember, you have two ears for a reason and only one mouth. There's a reason for that. It just took
Yes.
me back a few years, but still, it's interesting that some of these concepts are still extremely applicable nowadays, and some of them even more than ever. Right?
Yes. Getting back to the basics.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And obviously you have this a lot of tech and a lot of new things in those conversations with your clients and prospects. And when we talk about this trusted advisor element of things, in your experience, how much does a seller's ability to talk, credible about innovation like AI or automation uh, impact the level of trust they build with their customers? Is that really a must, or can I sort of blag my way through this?
Well, you're never going to be an expert at everything,
Right.
right? So knowing that is something that you have to make sure you embody and know that you're not going to have an answer to everything, every question that comes out.
Yeah.
But knowing and staying on top of the trends in technology,
Mm,
even the trends in the business and the company that you're sitting in front of, is
mm,
very important. You have to know your customer because
yeah.
that customer has a sole job of what their products are or what their company does. And you
Mm,
need to know what you do and the reason why they're pulling you in. And the reason why they're pulling you in is to get a different point of view. So it doesn't always have to be correct. It doesn't always have to be spot on the mark. Just go in with your best foot forward and know that you'll never know everything, but have a good opinion of where you're going.
yeah. It's interesting. We've just implemented something very cool, an AI skill practice and coaching piece to our process. They're all very, very cool. I have to admit, I resisted that innovation and that process initially. I'm of an age, that 50s sort of plus, where you you tend, well, anyway, it's nothing to do with age. Me personally, I resisted some of that change, and I'm like, okay, we can stay how we are, we can do, but it's really interesting once you immerse yourself into this new technology, into what could be happening, and really think differently about it. I swear by this stuff now. It's absolutely critical. And if you want to stay relevant, you just have to do it, right?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I think back all the time to, ChatGPT, right? And 6 months ago, some of my friends or family members were like, oh, you use ChatGPT? And I'm like, of course you don't. And
Yeah,
now everybody uses it, right? Like, it is amazing. That is what we have to look forward to.
yeah, yeah. It's an exciting time and future ahead. Absolutely. My last question on every podcast is this. We always talk about how to engage with clients, and how are we at an elite level to do so. Um, what, in your opinion, are the top 3 qualities that elite salespeople these days have to possess or execute to really be at that top level? So in other words, what are your top 3 qualities that you believe really good salespeople need to have and execute?
Yes. Number 1 is curiosity.
Mm,
Always be wondering what's going on here. Question everything, because
mm,
questions lead to answers, right? And answers lead to solutions.
mm,
The second thing I would be collaborative,
mm.
bringing in people. Again, you're not going to be the expert of everything, and
Yeah.
know who you are, right? Know that if you're, a seller or a closer, if you're technical, if you're not technical, know where your strengths are and
Yeah.
be able to reach out to other people and create those relationships within even other companies, other organizations that can
Mm,
complement you and can be that place where you might not shine the most, right? But pull in other people. It's not a solo race. It's not even a race at all.
right.
But it's definitely not solo. It's collaborative.
Love it. And what about number 3?
Number 3 quality of an elite salesperson, I would say just to continue learning. Just
Mm,
always learn. There's always more that you can learn about, and also, really trust what's guiding you and follow your passion. I can tell you so many times where I don't think my career would have went where it was if I didn't follow what I was passionate about. Because
mm.
sometimes you think it's unattainable, but it's not. Just follow where your passions lie.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Ashley, thank you. I know our listeners very much appreciate your insights and your thought leadership on the topic. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
2 calls to action, my lovely people. You heard it from Ashley first. Number 1, curiosity. 2, collaborative and continuous learning and progress. That wasn't a call to action. It was just a summary of their 3 top qualities of elite salesperson. So 2 calls to action for you. Go to the B2B site, subscribe, and share this with other people who you think this episode or other episodes would be helpful too, as well as go to our YouTube channel, B2B Sales Trends Podcast, and go to our website, globalperformancegroup.com, to check out your current win rates and how those rank compared to your industry average. Until the next episode, my dear lovely people, you look after yourself, your loved ones, and of course, your B2B customers. Bye-bye.